Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. In this video, we're going to learn how to find Y-intercept graphically and algebraically. So let's take this example. In this example, it says to use the graph of the function, which is g of x equals absolute value of x plus 2 minus 3, to approximate its Y-intercept, then to find the Y-intercept algebraically. Now, if we want to approximate the Y-intercept means where our graph touches the y-axis. In other words, when x is 0. Just remember, it is the point where your graph touches the y-axis, which is here, this one. Okay, so our y-intercept would be -1. Okay, so we have -1 as our y-intercept. As a point, we could write it as 0, -1. This is the point on the graph, 0, -1. Okay, so we have 0, -1 as the point which is on the graph, which is the y-intercept. To find it algebraically, we have to plug in the value 0 in x, because we know that the graph touches the y-axis or the y-intercept when x is 0. Just remember that the y-intercept is when x is 0. Okay, so when x is 0, that would be our y-intercept. So let's do it. Let's do it algebraically. So g of 0 is equal to, now we plug in the value 0 into x, absolute 0, plus 2, close the absolute, and minus 3. 0 plus 2 is just 2, and absolute of 2 is just 2. So that's 2 minus 3, and 2 minus 3 is -1. So we found that algebraically. Okay, on the graph it's -1, algebraically find g of 0, and we plug in the 0, and we can find that the y-intercept is -1. Let's take another example. So let's use the graph of the function here to approximate its y-intercept, then we can find it algebraically. Now on this graph, we know that the graph touches the y-axis at this point. So if we count 1, 2, so the y-intercept is 2. So the answer is definitely D. But let's find it algebraically. Algebraically would be, so we need to write what? F of 0, right? Because we said that the y-intercept is when x is 0. So f of 0 is equal to, what's x power 4? That's 0 power 4, so that's 0. And 0 squared is 0, multiplied by 3, that's again 0. So we are left with number 2. So that's 2. F of 0 is equal to 2. So our y-intercept is D. Hope this helps, and have a nice day.